What's up? I'm Crystal Rosas inside of our Z100 Artist Interview Lounge presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. They call him Africa's boyfriend today, one of the most powerful voices in global music. This Nigerian artist blending Afro beats, R&B, pop with a signature romantic energy. You know, his breakout hit, Love Nwantiti, became one of the most streamed songs in the world, over 6 billion streams, 8 times platinum in the US, and earning the title of Best Selling Nigerian Artist of 2024. Nominations from the Grammys, Brit Awards, Soul Train Awards, and more. Now he's stepping into a bold new era with his latest EP, Ckay the Second, dropping today. We're so blessed. It's a refined, emotional, genre-bending project, and we're so excited to have him here to chat all about it. Ckay, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We're so happy you're here.
Such a pleasure.
And when we got the news that we might hang out today, I was like, wait, that song, Love Nwantiti, I feel like it just teleports people.
Yeah, it does.
To a different place.
Yeah.
And the vibe is just so cool. And then your essence here. I mean, how are you feeling now that you're here in New York City?
I feel really good, you know. It's been like 2 years since I was last year promoting Sad Romance, my first album. And, you know, so much has happened in 2 years. Like, I've been, you know, all over the world. I've been all the way on the Eastern Hemisphere, you know, Dubai, Asia. You know, we've been out here spreading the gospel to the world, basically, you know. And it feels good to be back in New York. Like, the energy, I think New York has so much energy. It reminds me so much of Lagos. Like, the way people are very, like, you know, everyone is in a hurry all the time. Everything is a do or die affair. Like, you know, it's very reminiscent of Lagos. So I like the energy. It's just sometimes it gets a bit too stressful. Like, I feel like since I got here, I've slept the least. But I still feel very alive, you know.
Is it because you have so many things to do, or like what is that stress of the city that you feel?
Yeah, it's like, you know, my schedule is unbelievable.
Right.
First things first. Like, you know, in any city, but then it's New York. So it's like the energy of New York plus the energy of my already stressful schedule. It's like they joined forces against me. Well, for me, actually, not against me. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's really a vibe to be here. You know, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that Ckay the Second is out everywhere. You know, I've been working on this EP for about 6 months now. You know, making a whole bunch of songs, making songs, and, you know, finally selecting those 6 songs and seeing them like go out into the world and people like, you know, listen to them and react in real time. I think that's like so crazy to me. It's so rewarding.
Well, it dropped today, and you're already getting so much love from it. How does that feel that your baby is out and you're also getting the love you put into it?
It's really good, you know. It feels really nice. I just don't want to get into postpartum.
Say that.
You know, second baby and all. But it feels really good, you know. You know, like I said, we've been working on this for a while, you know, and like I've been listening to this EP on my own for months. Mm-hmm. So like finally being able to listen to it on DSPs like everyone else and to watch everyone else listen to it, I think that's like, it makes me feel really good because, you know, I no longer have to keep this music to myself anymore. Now like people can have access to it. And, you know, it's just very exciting for me.
Well, from your first project to now, there's been a lot of growth, and I'm sure in your head and around you, there's been a lot of people that have wanted to pull you one way, or you're thinking of dabbling.
Yeah.
But this project, how did you decide to keep it with your roots, but still adding some different elements?
Yeah.
But where was your mind when you were thinking of all those different things?
So Ckay the Second is, I'll describe it as a sequel to Ckay the First, right? And with Ckay the First, basically the mindset was, I wanted to assert that I was the first me, not the next anyone. You know, I'm a unique person with a unique upbringing, unique perspective. You know, I was born in Kaduna, Nigeria, which is like up north, you know, amongst Muslims, but I'm not Muslim. You know, so I was influenced a lot by like Islamic music, Arabian scales, all that stuff growing up. So having all those elements into the music makes it different from someone who grew up in a different place, so there's so many things about my upbringing that make me different from every other Afrobeat artist. So I try to celebrate all those things, like from my dad always playing classical music in the house. I have a classical touch in my songs. If you actually listen, you hear it. To the storytelling, like me talking about like my love life, my mistakes, my my positives and my negatives. So I always wanted to just be unapologetically myself. So Ckay the second is just that. It's taking that like 7 steps forward. You know what I
Wow,
mean?
yeah.
Taking that idea and that ideology like 7 steps forward, and it's a really, really beautiful project in my opinion. I love it a lot, and I usually I like to believe I have a great taste in music. First things first, so for me to listen to my own music like back to back like a fan, that's to tell you how much I love the music myself. Right? So it's just I'm just happy to see people loving it as much as I do today. Like as it dropped today, I'm seeing people enjoying this music so much the same way I was enjoying it. So it's a really rewarding feeling.
And I feel like you also encompassed the nickname that they gave you with it, Africa's boyfriend, and you're
Yeah.
still being dubbed that. What does that mean to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, so to me it means a lot of things. I'll say first things first, it means that I represent the African boyfriend. First things first. Like that is me giving you a picture of what it means to be an African boyfriend. Like, to be a young African man in love, and, what love looks like from my perspective. Second of all, it's also like, I see it as community service, right? I think being Africa's boyfriend is community service in the sense that I am here to basically uplift the vibration of humanity.
Oh,
And I think love is the highest vibration of humanity. It's literally the highest. There's no other vibration that I think is higher than that. Like I feel love powers everything. If there was just more love in the world, I think the world would be a much better place. There'll be less killings, there'll be no wars, there'll be no deception, there'll be no nothing, basically, if everyone just like loved each other. But obviously, like that is in an ideal world. Like that is not what it is. But basically, you have people like me here to basically bring humanity closer to its highest vibration with music. So that's kind of what it means to me to be Africa's boyfriend beyond just a name, you know?
oh no, that's beautiful. And we need that. We need more of that. And it
Yeah.
also feels good because even if whoever is going through something, if a girl is going in through her single era or her breakup era, it must feel comforting for you to be like, you know what? I'm gonna lift your vibration higher, queen. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Right? You feel that?
Literally, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now we know with your first baby, you put out it was like a mini film, 10-minute sci-fi.
Yeah.
You have had a connection with aliens when you were
Yeah.
a kid. Talk
Yeah.
on aliens.
Yeah, so like growing up, I had a fascination with the universe in general. Like, I always thought it was just so crazy that we, or us, and everything we know, everything we have ever known, is literally just on a tiny blue rock, floating in space. And this blue rock is rotating around another rock, and that rock or star is like rotating amongst other stars, and like that, like it goes on, and we're like just so tiny. We feel so important here, but we're just so tiny in the universe. Like, so I've always had that obsession, and I like to incorporate ideas that I find interesting into my music and videos and stuff. So that short film was like a way of explaining what it was like to be in love with someone that was very, very different from everyone else, because at that time, I felt like I was always falling in love with people or women that were very different from, like, the norm. in terms of like how they think or how they, how they were raised or something. Like I like to go for the outliers for some reason. So that movie was kind of to depict that in a very, very visual form, So with this one, it's a slightly different direction. We have the first video for the album coming out in about a week or so, for Forever, I think. It's a really, really, really beautiful video. I personally can't wait for it to drop. But yeah, that's just video one. There'll be a lot more visuals and a lot more things. Basically, it's going to show you the journey from Ckay the first to Ckay the second. When you see the videos and you see everything, it will be very, very evident.
I was going to ask about that because when the first project dropped to where you are now, I mean, you're such a different person. You've grown so much. You've seen so much of the world.
Yeah.
So what are some things in your growth that you're really proud of?
Well, I'll say first things first. I feel like I'm more mature in terms of in love. I think I matured in love too. Like, I came to a place where I was more honest with myself. I'm more, more willing to upset someone as a result of being honest and upfront and real, as opposed to not upsetting them and lying. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I came to that point of maturity and understanding. And musically, just like me being on all the tours I've been on, like between Ckay the first and now, like I've been on multiple tours. I've been on a US tour, a Canadian tour, a European tour. I've done so many festivals. I've performed in the Middle East so many times. Lebanon, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, it's been so many shows. Indonesia, Malaysia. Like we've been literally traveling around the world for the past 4 years, basically. So getting to see the fans in real time, as opposed to just seeing statistics on a screen, it kind of hit me very different, going to a place I've never been to, a place that is like an 18-hour flight away, and like I do a show there for the first time and it's sold out and everyone is singing all the songs. You know what I mean? Like it's like it hits you very differently, because seeing on a screen, oh, they love you in Malaysia is nice, but actually going to Malaysia and seeing it's like, oh wow, like that's crazy, So it's also like the beauty of how universal music is, like going to people of different cultures, different languages, different religions, and they all are just united by the love of this music. I think that's so fascinating. So all that stuff, I think all those experiences, all that insights went into the making of Ckay the second.
Wow.
And like I think the next set of tours, the next set of shows I'll be doing, I think is going to be even more amazing, even more, more energetic, more creative, more everything. I'm so ready for the next phase.
It's so unique, your position of seeing the whole world and seeing people from the bottom to the top, the interactions you have with people from different parts of the globe. What have you learned about humans on that experience?
Well, I've learned that human beings, first of all, we are all the same. We're so different, but we're literally very much the same. Like it's actually a bit shocking to me how the same we are. Like I think I underestimated how the same we actually are.
Like why do you say that?
Yeah, because literally when I'm in a room doing a show, doing a set, and I'm in Dubai, for instance, and I'm doing a set and there's like 5,000 people here, right? We're doing the songs and people kind of tend to react at the exact same parts of each song in every country. Like everybody sings along to the same things. Everybody reacts in a very similar way. Everybody loves to be in love, or everybody loves love, even though deep down they may deny it. But like, it just shows you how much we are fundamentally the same too. Like music unites people regardless of their language, their culture,
Mm-hmm.
the food they like, the color of their skin, um, their geographical location. It's just we're all ultimately the same, and we are all united by music, and we are all like one human race at the end of the day. So I feel like that became even more clear to me when I started to like travel the world and do shows and stuff.
That's so cool. I would not have thought that
Yeah.
you could notice that different parts and vibes of your songs or shows,
Oh, of
people from
course.
different pockets of the world are having the same reactions.
The exact same.
That's
It's almost like
crazy.
I can't even always differentiate where I am. I'm like, is this Lagos or is this Dubai or is this New York? It's like
Wow.
the love is the same across
Uh-huh.
the board,
Uh-huh.
you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, diving into your music, you are really specific about who you work with, who's on your projects. You have some
Yeah.
amazing names on your second baby here.
Mm-hmm.
What qualifies someone to be in that space with you and you allowing that?
Yeah, so I think in collaborations, the first thing for me is chemistry, like, and you know, good vibe. Like, I feel like if I can't meet the artist and we have good energy, good chemistry, good conversation about random things, like we could talk about the weather or whatever, or talk about pasta or some shit, I don't know. But basically, I think that's the first thing. And the second thing is, I feel obviously the two artists who are collaborating, their sound has to be compatible. Like, it has to make sense. You should be able to hear these two people on one beat and it doesn't sound out of place. So that's two. And three, I feel like overall, just, you know, excitement too, mutual excitement about the record. I feel, you know, I like to be on records with people who are excited about the record too. I'm not really very big on political collaborations, like, or like photo op collaborations that is just about like the look of it. I'm very, very concerned about the music. Like, I feel the music is the priority for me, not really anything else. So these are basically like my criteria
Yeah, of
for
course.
for choosing who I collaborate with, and you know, ultimately I just have to be a fan of their music too.
I mean, I loved Sabrina Claudio on Again, which is a funny song because it's a little toxic. Like, it's a little gaslighty.
It's very toxic.
Yeah. When I was hearing it, I was like, okay, I know it's a love song, but like, why are you gaslighting me? So funny though. It's like, she's asking, why are you asking these girls for numbers? And you're like, I know, I do it again. I'm gonna do it again. Why do you think that was a funny topic for you to explore?
I mean, it's based on a true story. First things first, and I actually had that song for almost 2 years before Sabrina jumped on it. I had it, but I didn't quite have the right person, you know, that I felt was the perfect fit, right? But I think Sabrina was a very good fit. I think she really, really fit the song. And yeah, basically the song is about, it's about making mistakes that you make again and again. It's
Yeah.
about repeating mistakes, unfortunately repeating mistakes, and attempting to be a better man for the woman you're in love with. Yeah.
No, so great. And even her Spanish in there is so cool that she threw
Yeah.
that. I mean, it was great to hear as a Latina myself. And then in is it Permit Me where you have like that French line, like
Yeah.
the Lady Marmalade line?
Well, you know what's crazy? I wasn't really referencing
Oh, okay.
Lady
Okay.
Marmalade because I actually speak French.
Of course, yes.
Like, I'm not super fluent, but like, you know, I speak French. Like, and my ex was French, so I kind of really speak French.
In different ways.
Yeah, in different ways. So like saying that line, it was like, I didn't even know it was in a song, in another song. Although I saw that in the other song, they kind of said it differently from the way I said it.
Okay.
You know, they said voulez-vous, well, I said vous voulez, which is like, is a slightly different meaning in French. It's like almost the same meaning, but slightly different. Like, French people know the difference. Yeah. But basically, that's kind of what it was. It's basically saying, saying what's up, like what you doing tonight, like let's
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's do something interesting tonight. That's basically what that line means. And it's like, it's a feel good record. Permits me, I feel like obviously in today's world, with the way things are, I think asking for permission in a situation like that is very, very key.
Hmm.
Even though it should be very obvious, I think, but apparently it's not so obvious. Right. So yeah, that's basically what Permit Me is about. It's one of my favorite songs on the EP.
Oh, it's great. I love
Yeah.
it. And some of your fans want to know if they walked into your studio at like 2 a.m. or one of your peak times
Hmm.
of writing and into it. What would the vibe be like? What are they looking at? What are
At
you,
2 a.m.
yeah, or wherever, however, like the peak of your writing and producing?
Well, I mean, at 2 a.m., if it was 2 a.m., I'll probably be there alone. I don't really love distractions when I'm recording.
Hmm.
Sometimes I have guests in the studio, but most times when I'm actually trying to lock in, I don't really be having guests. So that's first things first. Two, I like to have a nice ambience in the studio. Like, you'll probably see some air humidifiers or like incense or all that stuff in my studio. Cause
What is it? What are the smells of some of your favorites?
like I love stuff that smell like oud, stuff that smell like sandalwood. Like, I kind of, I just kind of like to elevate my environment to feel and smell a certain way when I'm making music, because I just feel like, upping the vibrations always helps.
All the senses.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I do that, and I'm just in a zone. I'm zoning out, going crazy, doing my thing.
Do you have like coffee there, some chip? Like, what are you
Sometimes.
eating? What are you doing?
Sometimes, and sometimes I just forget to eat.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I realize it's been hours and I've not eaten. But yeah, sometimes coffee, sometimes water. Most times water though, because coffee is crazy too. But yeah, water, lots of water. Good energy, and yeah, the universe on my side, basically.
I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love you speaking on how you decided to take a gamble on yourself and you told your
Hmm.
family, I love you, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go focus on work.
Hmm.
I did that too, leaving California
Oh
and
yeah.
my family behind here all the way in New York City. I mean, Nigeria is a lot further, but but what advice do you have for people that also are thinking about taking that leap?
Hmm. Well, my advice is make sure you know what you're doing before you take that leap. Like, it's not for the weak. I don't think running away from home is for the weak. You have to really, really know what you're doing and have a plan, obviously. For me, I had a plan. At the time I ran away, my plan was that I would come to Lagos, I would make beats for people,
Wow.
I'll mix songs for people, and I would pay my bills like that until I finally got my chance to release my own music.
Where did you go? Where did you stay when you did that?
So I had a friend
Oh, that's
who
nice.
had like a small apartment, and I was sharing with him for a couple months before I got mine. But yeah, it was a lot of sacrifices. It was a lot of risk taking, a lot of uncertainty. I feel like the worst part is the uncertainty, because you're not really sure, like, will this work out? Will this not work out? I mean, even if you believe in yourself as much as anyone believes in themselves, like, there's always that uncertainty, especially when you're so young and you're taking such a huge leap of faith in a very, like, uncertain industry. I think music is probably one of the most uncertain industries that exists. Like, I mean, if you went to college, you probably have a better shot at earning a living. You have your resume, your work experience, and you apply for a job and you get a job. But as a musician, it doesn't quite work like that. Our process is a bit different,
Yeah.
and I would say it takes a bit more time
Hmm.
too. So I would say, yeah, know what you're doing and have a plan. Yeah.
Who was helping navigate your mental when you blew up during Love Nwantiti? Because it just went from probably 0 to 100 for you
Yeah.
and became one of the biggest songs of the time, the streams. So how did you stay grounded?
Well, it was easy to stay grounded because I was like so busy.
Okay.
Like I was like so, how do I put it? I was like so busy doing promo, performing, doing all these things that I didn't really even have time to enjoy what was happening.
Mhm.
Like it was just like a situation of me on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. Oh wait, we need to be in Paris. Oh, we need to be in London. We need to be in New York. We need to be in
Mhm.
LA. We need to. So it's so crazy when you're doing all this stuff. You don't kind of, you don't have so much time to, how do I put it?
Get too reckless because you're on a.
Yeah, to get too reckless and to get too carried away, because I mean it's just a lot of work happening, and you know you have to lock in, you have to stay focused. um so yeah, I'd say largely that, but aside that too, I think it's just, you know, being close to people who keep you grounded and people who you actually like, you know, care about, like your day ones. You know, I think being with your day ones a lot helps to keep you grounded, and like your family too. And yeah, basically I would say that's kind of how I stayed grounded at that time. Yeah.
And since then, you've been in rooms and opportunities with some of the biggest names and the coolest people.
Hmm.
And I'm sure people came up to you. You're like, I didn't know you even knew me. Have you had any of those run-ins?
I mean, you might have to specify.
Where you were shook that someone that you really looked up to actually was a fan of yours and maybe came up to you or you
Okay.
had a conversation?
Okay, yeah. Obviously, like there was like I got so many DMs, so many, you know, stuff like that. But I'd say one that was interesting to me was in LA when I was doing my first show in LA, my very first show. So Madonna came to the show. Yeah, so we were talking on Instagram for a while, and
Excuse me, you were talking on Instagram with Madonna?
yeah,
Just in the DMs?
yeah.
Well, how did that even happen?
Um, I don't know. Like we followed each other and started talking, I guess.
Crazy. You're saying it so casually. It's Madonna, she's like the pop diva of the world.
Yeah, but she's a person too. Like she's
Yeah.
she's a really cool person aside being a pop diva. So we're talking and everything, and obviously I love her music like from way back and stuff.
Yeah.
My mom loves her music.
My
My
dad
my
loves her,
sisters.
yes.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. And she told me she would come to the show, right? And I was like, okay. First of all, it was like a really small venue. It wasn't like I wasn't on tour yet. This was like when I was doing promo, and it was like an intimate show in Los Angeles. And she said she would come, and she came, and she was like literally front row with her friends. Like she came with a squad. Like, so I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, big shout out to Madonna.
How did you feel when you saw her there and she was vibing to you and your music?
It felt really good. When I came on stage, I was, doing my thing. I actually didn't see her at first. I was just doing my thing. I think I had my glasses on, my sunglasses on. But I saw her later on towards the end of the sets. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's nice. It's really nice that she came. So yeah, that's like to mention a few. But I've had the privilege of like, talking to so many stars that I think are great musicians and I think, have done great stuff. And, I think it's a really exciting thing for me because, coming from COVID when the world was like closed down and everything, I think a part of me was always just yearning to be out there and to go to these places where my music is being celebrated and loved. So when that happened, it was just full circle moment for me.
That is crazy that Madonna's in your DMs and you guys are friends. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
I know you said she's just a human, but like, my dad had me listening to Madonna as a little girl, and she's like the coolest. So
She's a legend.
yeah, she's a legend.
Legend.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
dope.
but she's a person too.
Yeah, I know. I've never been
Yeah.
around her, so I can't
Yeah.
even think of that. But that's awesome.
Hmm.
I also know that you started your own label. Is that true?
No, so I didn't start a label. It was
okay.
it's a publishing company.
Oh, publishing company. Wow.
Yeah, it's called Boyfriend Music. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so Boyfriend Music is basically my publishing company and management company.
Wow.
It's owned by myself and my manager, Joseph Salubi. We've been friends for over 13 years, and we just decided to, make a company. We were basically trying to correct some things we thought were wrong in the publishing industry, like with the experience I've had in music and publishing and all these things. There are just a few things we noticed that we weren't very comfortable with, and we wanted to just do differently with our company. And I think songwriters, producers, like composers, people who make this music, I feel like they all deserve to get their rightful piece of the pie, basically. And I've been in so many situations where musicians are not quite compensated, like guitarist who plays on a song, or a keyboardist who plays on a song, not just the producer and all that stuff. So in Boyfriend Music, we kind of make it a priority to make sure that everybody who was involved in making a song is adequately compensated. And we just wanted to do things differently. Even with the music creation process, our camps, the way we do camps is very different. We don't really do the status quo with everything.
Wow.
We're very different with our approach. We just want to do better in the publishing space. Yeah.
I feel like artists have been a lot more vocal and trying to bring up the rights of all artists, because for a long time it's been the big labels, this, that, this is how it is, period. But it's kind of cool that you're trying to pioneer a new way of getting people involved that deserve the credit, right?
Yeah, I think it's so key, because obviously the label side is different from the publishing side, but yeah, I think it's very important that the people who make the music are taken care of. I think that's very key. Yeah.
They're the ones doing the work.
Yeah. So I think it sounds so obvious, right? Like, it sounds like, of course, the people who make the music should be taken care of, right? But that doesn't happen as much as you would think. Yeah.
You're also working on a tour this year to show the whole world your new baby in performances. So how has that planning been going? What are you thinking for that?
Really, really good, actually. This will be my second US tour and Canadian tour. I'm very, very excited, because since the last tour I've been, I feel like I've grown a lot. I've learned a lot about, performing. I've had a lot more experience, and I think this tour is going to be legendary compared to the last one. Like, this one is going to be crazy. If I do say so myself. What would you want to do
different? What from what you've learned, you're probably going to be adding? Or
well, I can't say too much, obviously, but I will say this: the next tour is going to be bigger, better. It's going to be more advanced. Like, obviously, I've had, in my other tours, I've done like great stuff. Like, we play guitar, we play piano, we sing. We have a band, we do crazy stuff on stage. But this time it's going to be a lot more like mature, a lot more like advanced. And basically, it's basically like a tour that did a PhD.
Yeah, so cool.
That did a PhD. So that's basically what the next tour is going to be like. Very exciting and very, upgraded.
Have you had time to watch shows from some of your favorite artists? Was there any performers that you were like, dang, I love how they perform, or I like this from their performance?
I think performance wise, let me see. Who do I say?
Who moved you the most? Yeah. If you think about it.
Who moved me the most? Well, I can't really tell you who moved me the most, but I'll tell you the artists that I like the vibe of their shows. Like, I like Billie Eilish shows. I think I like the energy and the vibe of her shows. I think, the way it's really stripped down and simple is really cool. Like, it's not too much unnecessary stuff going on the stage. It's like it's like a big venue, but it still feels intimate. Kind of situation. That's kind of what I really resonate with in terms of that performance. And who else? I like Travis Scott too in terms of the shows. I think, the energy he creates in the atmosphere he creates in the venue and all that stuff, I think is really cool. It's really energetic, and it's very infectious. I think it's cool.
It's so unique when you see, you're like, everyone is moving like a pulse there
Yeah.
when you see him. And then Billy too, you're right.
Yeah.
It's mellow, it goes up and down. It is stripped down, but the energy is still
It's
there.
still there.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So these are like, I think, top two performers that I'm feeling right now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about throwing some love to underground artists that maybe they're not on the headlines, but you still love their vision and what they're doing?
Hmm. Um, I'd say right now, I don't know if I'll call her underground, but there's this artist from Ghana. Her name is Molly. She has this record that's going crazy right now. It's called Shake It to the Max. I think that's really cool. And I think she's been doing her thing for a while, and she's finally having her moments now.
Okay.
So I think that's really cool. Because she makes great music. Who else?
Are you listening to
There-
anyone right now? Yeah.
I'm always listening. There's this band called the Cavemen. They're Nigerian. They're predominantly high life based. Like in terms of their sound, is very high life, but they dabble into other stuff too. But they play live, and they play and sing live. And I have a record with them on my last album called Addicted. One of my favorite records. I think is amazing. And yeah, the Cavemen, I think they're really cool, and they deserve like a lot more recognition. Basically it's two brothers, Kingsley Benjamin, and plays drums and sings at the same time. You probably see people play guitar and sing or piano, but like you've probably not seen a drummer singing at the same time. Yeah, it's crazy. Benjamin and Kingsley producing, they produce their own stuff, they do everything. It's sick.
That's cool. I want to check them out. Now that you've been around the world and been able to perform and do what you love, is there anything that you are still excited to do, or something that you haven't gotten to do yet?
I've done
Yeah.
pretty much everything. I don't think there's much I haven't done that I'm excited to do.
Yeah.
To be fair, nothing that comes to mind right now. But I would say, obviously, I'm still, I want to do a bigger tour than the last time. I want to, travel to more countries. I want to tour in Australia. I haven't toured in Australia yet. I want to perform in more of Asia as well. I feel like Asia is a very interesting continent, and I've performed in a few countries in Asia, and they were all very good energy, great shows, great energy. India, I did 2 shows in India, did Indonesia, Malaysia. I kind of want to go to China. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to more places in Asia, because I think it's such a good energy there, good vibe, and I feel like they're slowly embracing Afrobeats. Like I've seen how much they embrace Afrobeats over the past few years, and it's crazy. I think it's on the rise. It's getting more and more every day, and yeah, I'm also looking forward to my first Grammy too. I think that'll make me very happy.
Well, we know that you were on a project that got nominated.
Yes.
Which must have been such an honor. How did that feel?
It felt really good, big shout out to Janelle Monáe. The album The Age of Pleasure, I was on a song called No Better with Sheon Kuti and the Egypt 80 band. It was really crazy. Great record, great album, and I think it deserves all the love it's getting.
We know you're so busy. We know you're all over the world. You give so much love to your fans. You still find a way to stay present, which is really admirable. Right now, where you are, how does it feel to be CK?
Well, right now, I'll tell you, it feels very stressful and lots of, not sleeping, lots of traveling, lots of waking up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. That's how it feels right now. But yeah, it feels very good too. I think in the midst of all the madness, there's beauty in the madness. it's exciting to get to be, I would say, one of the few chosen to spread love to the world and to uplift the vibration of the human race. I think it's a, like I said, it's community service, and it's a responsibility, and I'm blessed to be one of the few with that responsibility. Yeah.
That's so great to hear. And we're so blessed that you decided to hang out with us and share the day of your new baby's birth. Thank you so, so, so much.
Thank you for
enjoy
having
the
me.
rest of New York City. And we just want to say thank you for the time. Thank you for all the love you show to your fans, to the world, to the music. And we're going to continue for the rest of the journey. So thank you so much, CK.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.